Why don't they set black people free? Almost I bring out the best in me. We've got eyes and we can see. It's just love and harmony.
Peace, kings and queens. This is Kwame X. I'm here with brother Huhi Kaa.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, King?
I'm good. I just want to talk about a few topics that's been, a lot of the bullshits that's been going on in the world today, such as police brutality.
Fact.
We see it's like white supremacy is showing its face now. I want to know what are the answers, what are the solutions to this problem that we've been facing for over 500 years.
When it comes to that, I think we have to start talking about the solution, because the only thing new is this.
Okay.
The accessibility to technology that's showing it, but coming up in the hood, being familiar with the ghettos, we know that this is not a new thing. This is an ongoing thing. It's just that they're being exposed. I would be lying if I said I didn't feel like they was doing this in a strategic manner. Like if you look at Jameer Rice, the young kid in Ohio that got shot in the park for holding a toy gun, shot him multiple times. He's this little kid, small child. Look at Sandra Bland, not even to mention the new ones, when they had the brother Eric Garner in New York City, the other brother had his gun license, they had him on the floor pinned down, and they shot him 7 times. What's his name? Alton Sterling?
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is like a slaughterhouse. I feel like they want to put an emphasis on it, and they want us to react in a particular emotional manner, which we usually do, but they really would like us to take it to the next level, take it overboard, and that way they can up the antes, and they could they could retaliate on us at a more harsh rate, and just kind of shake up the dynamics of our peace of mind. Because what I like to tell people is that we create the reality with our mind. Like me and you. The Bible actually has a quote or a script that says, "When two are gathered in my name, there I am." Right? I'm looking at that in a spiritual aspect, not a religious aspect. That when we come together, we can manipulate matter, we can manipulate particles, we can change the physical structure of nature. Because it's mind over matter at the end of the day. So they know that mentally, especially as melanated people, we control the planet mentally. Literally, we can destroy the planet if we wanted to. That's nothing we would want to do, but I'm saying we have the ability to reconstruct our reality. So that's why you see they're doing all these shootings, so we can vibrate on fear. If you look at us right now, a lot of people are vibrating on fear. Usually, before these things, when you walk past a cop, you're already tensed up a little bit. But now, when you walk past a cop, you're going to be even more tensed up. It's like, as a black male, it's like we're in the war zone. As a black mother, it's like, yo, where's my son at? I have to call you every second because you could be getting shot by a cop right now. So they overstand this on a mental level. And even though we live in a racist society, and that never stopped, it was only covered up. They say the KKK members, they put on the badge and the blue hat. But, it's important for us to understand that they're attacking us on a chemical level, on a scientific level, on a mental level. So they understand that we're getting more spiritual now. You see the conscious community is crazy all over the world, from Canada to America to Jamaica, all over the world, Africa. The consciousness is rising at a particular level that they're like, yo, we have to keep doing certain things. They have to keep on, spitting rhetoric on the news. They have to start shooting young black folk, because when we're vibrating on a level of fear, it holds our spirituality. It holds our imagination, So now we're so spiritual, but now we have to worry about this. So I would always tell people the reason why I reacted and I started hitting the streets, organizing protests and bringing people together, because people are emotional, so they're misusing that energy. It's important for us to, as conscious individual intellectual beings, to observe that and take advantage of the energy that's being wasted and redirect that to something that's more productive. So that's what's going on. They see that we're rising, and they're figuring out ways to keep us down, keep us vibrating on their level. We're not even trying, but they looking at us as like we're genetically dominant beings. They're like, yo, what are we gonna do? Yo, we have to do something. So they're gonna keep throwing tactics you know, like trying to figure out tactics to shake us up, to keep us vibrating on a negative level. But we're spiritual beings regardless, and nature's on our side. You know, there's what every ancient people knew is something called the precession of the equinox. Basically, it's a 24,000-year cycle, you know, give or take a few. That basically is broken up to 4 cycles of 6,000 years, and that's negative and positive, agreeable, disagreeable. You know, like it's all nature. Negative, like protons, electrons, day and night, winter, summer. Like we vibrate on cycles. Religion, they say the devil was given 6,000 years to rule, but that's not the case. The case is that we work on positive cycles and negative cycles. So literally what we've been going through this whole time was a negative cycle. And Europeans, you know, that's why I said nature appointed them to do what they're doing, to be as destructive. They were given a leeway. This was their cycle. They was able to destroy all throughout the Dark Ages. You know about the Dark Ages, you know, Greece and Rome. You know, they were able to destroy. They was able to tear shit down. Even though there was a point in history when Greece was actually admiring Egypt, admiring Africa, and trying to study, whenever you got to the point with Constantine and, you know, these people, they was like, nah, fuck that. Or what pope was that? It was a particular pope that decided to destroy the Library of Alexandria, destroy all the temples in Egypt. And that what like drove us to the heart of, you know, the Dark Ages or the destructive cycle. So literally, like we're just now coming out of the destruction cycle, and we're going through a stage of liberation. You know, Libra energy or liberation, where we're coming out of this destructive stage. So we have to look at stuff more scientifically. Like when some shit like that happens, we have to look at that like, yo, what's really going on? What are they really trying to do? Because they work magic, they use chemicals. They're putting chemicals in our water like fluoride. You look at Trent, Michigan, the lead. Like in black neighborhoods, predominantly black neighborhoods, is poison. And there's a lot of scholars that talk about that. So the solution, that was kind of like why they're doing what they're doing. Just in case people don't understand, they have to control or try to monopolize our existence. You know, so because they understand that we have the link to creation. You know, we're in tune with nature. 75% of Caucasian people, they don't even have active pineal glands. So they have to look and see who does have that link with nature, who could tap in, who could change destiny, and they have to, like, you know, kind of put a hand in their back like they're playing with a puppet. And that's what's going on at this level or this time. But the solution is for us to govern ourselves. The solution is for us to, you know, create unity. A lot of brothers, you were telling me Umar Johnson was talking about that. He's a good brother, a very, very eloquently spoken brother. You know, I just feel like we have to start thinking on that level. A lot of black leaders are thinking about this. They're thinking about the fame. When it comes to teaching and being a leader, you know, the whole fame aspect, people don't understand that doing this, you're sacrificing yourself for humanity. This is an aid. This is like being a doctor. This is not like being Kanye West. It's a big difference. You know, a lot of us teachers could be charismatic, and people feel that, but you know, and they can be affected by that. But we can't be affected by that. In turn, we have to work harder to do our job. Some people get caught up in it. You know, when they get the money and they want to floss it, they want to, you know, that's not the mindset we should have. We shouldn't have the mindset like, yo, I didn't live that way, so now I want to live on a level where I'm flossing, I'm driving these Benzes. This is not the
shots.
This is not the ticket. This is not that lotto ticket that allows you to do that. This is a particular lifestyle where you're sacrificing yourself to create or change the dynamics of this realm.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
But the thing is, the black man has been having hell on earth. For over 500 years. So now some black men want heaven on earth.
No, I agree with that. But we have to be aware that heaven is a mindset, right? And also, when we're doing what we're doing, there's people watching us, inspiring to be like us. You understand what I'm saying? So when it comes to living heaven, you can live in heaven, right? And you can motivate other people to live in heaven. It's not what you do, it's how it's done. That's when the coon factor comes into play. You just like, damn, that nigga cooning. You know what I'm saying? But we can create luxury, you know, while doing good for our people. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at some of the great people throughout history. They were financially stable, but you never saw them cooning. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I have love for all my brothers. I'm just saying it's not what you do, it's how it's done.
Mm-hmm.
So, when it comes to creating a change in reality or taking it to a quantum level and affecting existence on that level,
mm-hmm.
we have to know that it's a big responsibility, and we have to play our part and play our part well. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No shots fired, by the way. That's just, expressing how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mention any names.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Nah. But on the real, also, what I feel is definitely solutions for us to come together on minute levels, and on a great levels alike. When you look at a lot of African nations, even though we have the African Union, they're still fighting to create a level of unity.
After all these years.
And then look at South America. That's black. Those are black nations. Dominicans. Most of the people from the slaves. I think 75% of the slaves actually went to South America. A lot of people don't know that. So look at the islands. Everyone want to rep their flag, but they don't want to rep blackness. So the solution is coming together as one. The solution is coming together as one family, and as black people, we're not all alike. That's a misconception. Even though we're all melanated, we're a little different. We have different natures, and that's just through levels of evolution. Look at Caucasian people. Caucasian people are totally different from us. But in black and within the black family, we have different variations. That's why you have the tribal differences.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have to understand is that we have one thing in common, and that's we're under attack because of our great dominance. Because we're so advanced, being in tune with nature, that, like I said, they have to change the dynamics within our social constructs, within our everyday life, because we literally reflect our environment. If they're projecting images at us and we're taking that in, we're going to reflect that out. So the goal now is to create a level of unity, and then build growth, build wealth, get back to our roots. Other than unity, a big thing is for us to understand African spirituality. Because when we talk about us being able to change the molecular structure of matters or subatomic particles, that deals with African spirituality. Quantum physics, it deals with African spirituality. So understanding that, it's so important for us to transcend from this Eurocentric ideology, like Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and then come back to African spirituality, because it gives us power to change our environment or to change our destiny. Because there's a destiny that's written out for us, and that's not necessarily what we want. You know what I'm saying? Because they think 10, 100 years ahead of time. So that's what motivated me to create my organization, UMA, United Melanated Association. If you guys want to check that out, you go to One World UMA, or oneworlduma.com, or United Melanin Association on Facebook. And basically what I did was to create a black UN. Basically what UMA is, it builds relations between nations and organizations alike. Let's say organizations in the state. For example, I've been working with a lot of organizations, and one thing I can tell you is that a lot of these organizations, they do the same thing, the same shit, they just don't work together. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know that. Even in New York City, there's a lot of organizations that do the same thing, working with grassroots, organizations, they do the same thing, but they don't want to work together because they don't want to give up power. And this is on a small level. It's on a great level as well. You have great African leaders that don't want to give up power, so they won't exchange that. Go ahead.
I think they want to be like the next Garvey or Malcolm X. I don't know. They can't see the bigger picture.
See, and that's on a sub level. That's on a mid level, right? That's with the conscious community. But I'm talking even on the organizational level, like the people who create organizations for police brutality, people that create organizations for community activities, or to defeat the homeless, or take care of the sick, or the misfortunes, or what they call minorities. Those organizations won't even work together. And then you have the conscious community. Right? And I mean, these organizations, these grassroots organizations, there's literally thousands of them all throughout the U.S., right? And then you have the conscious community. And I ain't even get on the conscious community yet. Because that's like the superior ego of the world right now, because we're just now getting to the state where we're understanding African history, or history in general, and it's like a competition, because there's no structure, there's no culture to harness or to put people in particular positions. You know, that you can't. People don't go through trials and tribulation. They're not. They're not tested.
Rite of passage.
They don't have a rite of passage. Thank you. So you have people that read some books that hop on YouTube like, yo, Molly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have the rite of passage. So you know the ego is crazy. Even respect to all the elders. There's a lot of ego within the elderly conscious community. And when you look at that, like when they see young brothers like me and you coming to teach, there's automatically there's some type of resistance.
I put in all these years.
And you coming through and you just spitting the same stuff I'm spitting. It's ego, but it shouldn't be ego. No. What it should be teamwork. It should be it should be coaching. If you feel like you are greater than somebody, try to put them on the wing, mentor them. Or try to communicate. Tell them how you feel they should, approach the community. So even in a conscious community, there's a big ego there. And then on a greater level with African leaders, like official African leaders or leaders around the world, there's an ego there too. We know a lot of African nations or a lot of African leaders. They misuse a lot of funds, working with the U.S. government and European nations, and in turn that fucks over the people. So we just need better leadership. And one thing with UMA is it builds a link between organizations. It's our job to locate organizations and bring them together, and I mean that's only one aspect of it. Building communication overseas in South America, Africa, creating a link. It's exactly like the UN, the United Nations, but it's better than the United Nations because the United Nations will go into a country and destroy it like they did Haiti, the European Union, all these things. It's literally destroying the world. Yeah. What they say that the UN, they got millions of dollars to help Haiti and they built like one house or something like that. Two houses. Yeah, so we can't depend on the United Nations because the United Nations, they didn't help Gaddafi. Yeah. Right? And then they didn't help a lot of African leaders that was under attack because the US felt threatened because of the things they were doing, like changing the financial, momentum of the world. If Gaddafi would have changed the currency to gold, using gold to trade. Yeah, so basically what I was saying, if Gaddafi would have changed the currency momentum of the world, basically with trading fundamental elements like resources like oil, or Africa would have changed their currency to gold, or their trade currency to gold in general, Africa would have been a powerhouse, changing the dynamics of the world, sending Europe back into the dark ages, right? So what they do, they attack brothers like Gaddafi, assassinate him. Look at Libya now. Libya is in a destructive state. So we need to create a UN that builds communication. And one thing that they did to Gaddafi was cut off his communication with the outside world. When it came to them attacking him or looking for him with drones, they shut off his communication with the outside world so he couldn't communicate with different nations like, yo, Dad, this is what's going on. So one thing that we need to do is build mass communications between black nations, between black organizations, between black countries and black states.
That can't be deferred.
That cannot be deferred. Because we're dealing with a powerhouse that controls the world right now through technology, through the illusion of money or finances, because we know the U.S. dollar is not backed up by So UMA is just taking a step forward to create unity within the world. And that's the number one thing we need. Marcus Garvey said, the biggest problems that African people have that we're disunited world over. So, that's what UMA is about. Other than that, man, you have any other questions? That's the solution, unity and leadership.
All right, King. I have a question. Do you think that Africans, so-called African Americans, can build a nation in America?
Well, that's a good one, and that's what a lot of people kind of deem to put the direction on when it comes to Pan-Africanism. When it comes to us governing ourselves, it's like, can't we just build a nation within a nation? one thing that people don't understand is that if you do your history, if you know your history, we already tried that after slavery. Like there was total towns, cities given to us that was infiltrated, that was destroyed. I mean, look at Black Wall Street. You know, once we reached the level we was dominating in society, they bombed us from the air. See, we have to understand what we're up against. We're up against the people that are poisoning your water supply. Right? They're putting fluoride in our water supply. And that's another thing. Remember when I mentioned that we're able to change the molecular structure of matter or this planet?
Yeah.
And, you know, recreate our destiny or redirect the energies that's going on, change the, you know, the state of our world, our planet. They understand that they have power over us. They govern us. As long as the enemy have governance over you, you can't do anything. So what does that even mean to build a nation within a nation when they have control over your water supply? They govern you in a sense where they could just fly over you and spray chemtrails on you. You know, they can affect your spiritual state. They can beam low frequency waves into your homes. This is what we're talking about. So really think about what you're saying. Can we build a nation within a nation? People who say it don't understand what we're up against. They don't understand that we're up against the devil. When I say we're up against the devil, I'm saying that we're up against adverse force against nature. We're up against the adverse force against nature. So when you like, yo, can I move into this white man's house? You know, I rent a room out. How much control are you gonna have in that white man's house that you're renting that room out? You're not gonna have too much control. Maybe in that one room, but how you know he's not gonna go in your room when you don't come home, when you're not home? How you know he's not gonna pick your lock, open your door, go in your room, look through your stuff? You know what I'm saying? You know, spray the wrong freshener in your room. You feel me? Or some weird shit. Like, I'm pretty sure y'all people who's like, you know, in college, y'all understand what I'm talking about. When you're sharing space with somebody else, it's not as comfortable. You know, even when we transition to Africa, we should negotiate for our own, you know, type of government, our own space, our own settlement, our own, you know, because that's what we need to go for. You know, I mean, me as a Nwapins are already making that transition over there. We already got, you know, relations with Africa. We already building that Africa. We've been having building that relationship for years. When we talk about Liberia, Ghana, and different places like that. Nwapins, we already got our foot in Africa, and a lot of African Americans in general, a lot of people don't know that over 1,000 African Americans already live in Ghana, like we was talking about earlier. So, when I say a relationship with us in America, it should be only with business relations, and it don't even have to be that because there's so much black people in the world. We can just trade within ourselves. But what I'm saying is, let's say there's some black people that does not make that transition to Africa because they just feel too comfortable. Yeah. They love McDonald's too much, or they love, you know what I'm saying? They all their hair salons is here, all they whatever. They feel so comfortable in America, then they should stay in America, right? But they should build relationships with brothers in Africa where it's a financial relationship, where we're benefiting financially off of U.S. dollars. As long as this illusion of the U.S. dollars exists, we should, you know. I don't think it's practical for all the black people to leave America. Because first of all, they won't. Yeah. And second of all, it's better on the businesses anyway, because it's more connections. If you move to Africa right now, how much family members do you have here?
Most of my family's here.
Most of your family's here. Let's say most of your family don't make that transition with you. You have a lot of U.S. dollars coming there regardless. You have more trips to Africa regardless. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So this is one thing that I want African nations to understand, is that it's a benefit for African Americans to be in Africa, you know, because, and not even just African Americans, people from the West Indies, people from the islands, people from Europe, black, melanated people coming back home, going through the repatriation process back to Africa. We're bringing finances to Africa. We're bringing resources to Africa. And it's funny when I say that because Africa is the king of resources, or the mother of resources, you know, but we're bringing that, what you would call artificial superior financial dominance. When I say that, I mean that America's artificially the best country in the world. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, it's a facade, but Africa can benefit off that facade. Because what we have to understand is that a lot of Africans are leaving Africa to come to America for school. Yeah. Right? They're scientists. Look at Uganda. Uganda is going through a drought when it comes to their scientists. They're having all these scientists come up that they either have to leave Uganda or change their major to something else, or change their career path to something else. right now when African Americans are coming back, we're bringing a lot of energy. That's the thing we're bringing. We're bringing energy. You know the type of energy we have. As Americans, we have a lot of energy. We have the energy that we created hip hop. You know what I'm saying? We invented most of the inventions in America. So like the brother Akon was saying, Africa is for Africans. Like he always thought Africa was for Africans. So African Americans literally should go back to Africa. Because first of all, we're not respected here. We're able to build our own governance in Africa. Umar Johnson said half of Africa is not even developed. There's a lot of growth there. You know what I'm saying? So people have this illusion in their mind of Africa being this destroyed place. But absolutely, it has potential. Yeah. So much potential to build, to grow, to build way, more advanced things that we have here in America, because we're taking all that information, all that knowledge of here and bringing it there. Yeah. But at the same time, we should keep African Americans here because the trade aspect, U.S. dollar aspect. You know what I'm saying? It's more power. We should have black people all over the world because this planet is ours in general. But we do need to take advantage of our homeland, where we come from, genetically where we come from. We should take advantage of that, right? Perpetuate growth around the world. Once we heal Africa, we heal the planet. Because Africa heals the rest of the world anyways, through natural resources. Look at peanuts, coffee. We literally nurture the whole planet. So once we make that transition to Africa, we're healing the planet. So if you want to heal a planet, heal Africa, because that's the heart of the planet. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. It's the heart and the brains of the world. Those are the two major organs in the human body: your heart and your brain. Okay. So it's the pulse, the soul of the planet. That is closer to the equator. That's us. That once we heal that, when we heal the planet, it'll perpetuate everywhere.
Abolish slavery right now. Pharaoh, let my children go. Hey. Africa, prepare, cause I'm coming home. Black man, prepare, cause we going home.